DNA evidence from a glove found about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home was submitted to a lab in Florida and then entered into the FBI's CODIS database this morning. Investigators now saying there were no DNA hits and at this point no confirmed CODIS matches in the case. Tonight we are once again bringing you team coverage. News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink is live from PCSD headquarters with more from an expert on the search for Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker. But first, let's get to News 4 Tucson's Monica Garcia with what the DNA test results mean for investigators moving forward. She's at the scene of Nancy Guthrie's home. Monica.
That's right, Sean. Despite the DNA setback, that forensic setback, the sheriff says this case is far from being cold. In fact, they have thousands of leads, he tells us, starting with the evidence that they're still waiting for and analyzing that was collected inside the house, Nancy Guthrie's house behind me. And so let's talk about that evidence because we want to shift focus on that because the sheriff says, hey, you know, he feels something about this. Investigators confirm the glove found 2 miles from the scene does not match the DNA, though, collected inside the residence. The sheriff says while that glove did not contain DNA, what's more important right now is the mixture of DNA recovered inside Nancy's house. That evidence is being separated. It's being analyzed to determine whether it may belong to the suspect. At the same time, detectives are working to rule out people. The sheriff confirms investigators have visited multiple nearby restaurants, asking kitchen staff to voluntarily provide DNA samples. He says they are not doing that without reason. The black latex glove recovered is the type commonly used in commercial kitchens by paramedics and in law enforcement. The goal is simple, they say, to determine whether that glove came from an innocent worker or someone tied to the crime.
We found these gloves maybe it's in an alley, maybe it's in the desert, maybe it's right across the street. They look like kitchen gloves. We're going to submit them for DNA. Can we get your kitchen help, whoever it is that would wear these gloves, to voluntarily give us some buccal swabs?
All right, so let's talk about what investigators are now actively pursuing. They're actively pursuing all that doorbell footage, and you can ingest that really by going to our website. We have a link there to make it easier for you. Other things that they're focusing on, including tracking thousands of Ozark Trail backpack sales from Walmart. We've been telling you about that. They're also working to identify a unique holster as seen in the video, analyzing additional possible footage, and we told you about that. We said when we were here a couple hours ago that we did see detectives, investigators at a house nearby, and they were on a ladder and they were focused on a camera that was mounted on a house. So we talk about getting that camera footage that they want submitted in that portal. It looks like they're coming out, boots on the ground again, and just grabbing the cameras themselves, although we have not confirmed that, but at least that's what it appeared they were doing. Live in the foothills, I'm Monica Garcia. Sean, back to you.
All right, thank you, Monica. And as you can gather, they are looking at every lead tonight and hoping the public can provide some information. Also this evening, we're learning more from a Tucson cardiologist about the technology deployed by investigators to try and find Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker that was disconnected from the app on her phone the morning that she disappeared. News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink is live at the Pima County Sheriff's Department with that part of our coverage tonight. Eric, what have you learned?
Hi there, Sean. On February 3rd, we got video that we're about to show you of a PCSD helicopter that was flying low to the ground. It was flying just above Nancy Guthrie's home, and it was using a technology known as a signal sniffer in hopes of locating Nancy's pacemaker, to no avail. But now we have learned tonight that that technology is still being used in this investigation. So investigators know Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker has a Bluetooth device attached to it. The pacemaker sends out that Bluetooth signal that can usually be picked up by a receiver, usually within 30 feet. But an expert we spoke with says it can be more than that. The Tucson cardiologist who works directly with many patients who have pacemakers says investigators could potentially pick up the signal on Nancy's pacemaker. But here's the thing. The pacemaker must be a close enough distance away for that receiver to pick up a signal. Let's take a listen to Dr. Darren Perez.
So what the Sheriff's Department is doing is they have a receiver that's attached to the base of a helicopter or a drone, and they're flying around and really just looking for the signal that that would be emitted by her pacemaker.
So that we did get a statement from the company that the Sheriff's Department is working with, employing that Bluetooth technology. And that statement says in part, quote, "At the beginning of February, the Pima County Sheriff's Department requested our support, and we immediately began deployment of Blue Fly units and personnel to Arizona to assist with the search for Nancy Guthrie. Blue Fly is a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi sensor intended for search and rescue operations in challenging environments. The technology has been used on a variety of air and ground vehicles and on foot in austere terrain. It provides first responders with a heat map to identify signals within a search area." And the Parsons Company says it has used some of that Bluetooth technology over the past 2 weeks after that initial search with the helicopter to use that signal sniffer. And we got word today from Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos that that company has been very cooperative in this investigation as the search for the 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie continues. We're live outside PCSD headquarters tonight. I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson. Sean, let's go back to you.
All right, using every kind of technology they can to try and solve this case for continuing coverage of the desperate search for Nancy Guthrie. Be sure and stay with News 4 Tucson on air, online, and on all of our social media platforms.